Hi, welcome back everybody to another Mental Health Monday. Every Monday I like to take some time to talk about mental health. It is something that I have struggled with throughout my life in very severe forms, severe anxiety, severe depression, and I've tried everything under the sun to help me to get away from all that, but after 15 years of trying everything, it gets very frustrating. And so tonight I'm going to be talking about supplements or vitamins, or what can you take or what can you do so you don't have to suffer from mental health and such as anxiety and depression. So the first thing is there's a lot of things out there that you should take in order to overcome mental illness such as anxiety and depression. And that's the route I took for 15 years. I was on every single type of SSRI and benzodiazepines and all these really strong pharmaceutical drugs that help balance my brain or help, shut off the brain that was too overactive. And I got to be honest, those medications didn't work. And they actually made me have other issues, such side effects, such as memory loss, and I sweat a lot, and I had bad nightmares and things like that. And then so when that would happen, I would say, I'll never take another medication again, and I would try something natural. I would try a multivitamin or something, and that would only, last for a month or so, and then that would fail. So I was kind of stuck in between these two arguments of, if you have mental disease, you should be on pharmaceuticals. Or the other side, if you have mental disease, you should take these supplements. And that's kind of where we find ourselves in the world today, is stuck between pharmaceutical and natural. And the truth is, neither one of them really work. And the reason being is because if we try to take something to overcome a symptom and we never address the underlying issue, it doesn't matter if you take a pharmaceutical or a natural supplement to take care of the symptoms. It will never truly fix why the body is responding and reacting in a way such as mental disease of anxiety and depression. So again, that's our body's way of saying, hey, something's not right within me, and this is the way I'm going to show you. I'm going to give you anxiety and depression as a warning that there's something more. So if I just take a medication or a supplement that shuts that off, that warning sign, if I just if we have a check engine light that comes up on the dash and I just stab it with a screwdriver and break the light bulb, did I really fix the issue that's within the engine? No, okay? So again, with my anxiety and depression, the biggest change that I've had is by actually addressing what is the underlying cause. So I took a ton of supplements and I took a ton of medication, and again, at the end of the day, I always end up back in the ditch, always back into that dark pit of despair. And it wasn't until I adopted the wellness way perspective that I actually was able to find the underlying cause and take care of it. So let's talk a little bit about supplements and medication real quick. In the United States, alternative medicine types of supplements and vitamins, we spend $30 billion a year. And that may sound impressive, but wait until we see how much we spend in pharmaceuticals a year. So again, people are trying really hard to figure out natural ways of addressing their symptoms, right? And that's kind of where we fall flat. We should stop chasing the symptom of anxiety and depression, and we should approach what the cause of that is. So a lot of people are trying. They're willing to spend money to have relief from their symptoms, and I'm just talking about anxiety and depression today since it's Mental Health Mondays, but this applies to almost everything. Weight loss, thyroid issues, digestive issues. Those are all big things that we all suffer with, right? So let's look at how much we spend on pharmaceuticals chasing symptoms again, okay? Oh, before I get to that one, I put up some slides here about how, when we try natural things, that's kind of looked down upon. We need to trust science, and we need to go to our doctors and get that prescription, right? So here's a few of those negative Nancy's out there that don't quite have the right perspective. So anybody that tries anything that they don't think is right, then they're quacks, right? They're crazy. So here's something from the Washington Post. This lady says, how is it that perfectly respectable public health initiatives such as vaccines and water fluoridization, she thinks those are acceptable, public health things, give rise to suspicion and conspiracy theories, while an entire industry that's telling us out and out falsehoods in order to take our money gets a free pass. Dietary supplements, people, where's the outrage? Okay? So again, people have really strong ideas and opinions. She thinks that vaccines and fluoride in our water is good public health services, but then she knocks down anybody attempting to lose weight with some natural ways. Okay? Here on WebMD, I found an article that says experts say don't waste your money on multivitamins. Okay? New York Times says studies show little benefit in supplements. So again, the biggest issue with these arguments is they're trying to equate natural remedies with pharmaceutical remedies. These guys, both arguments, they only chase after symptoms. They never go after the root cause. So for example, I'm going to share a little bit about insulin. If you take insulin, does that solve your diabetes? What does insulin do? It lowers your blood sugar so you can live one more day. But what if you never fixed why your body is having high blood sugar? You will always have to take insulin. On the natural side, we use an herb here at the office to help regulate blood sugar called Genema. If I was to give a patient Genema to help lower their blood sugar, am I fixing or am I helping them address why they have high blood sugar in the first place? No. So both arguments are wrong. Insulin does not solve diabetes, neither does Genema. Okay? Those are just addressing a symptom of high blood sugar. We got to figure out why that person has high blood sugar. Okay? So here is how much the United States spends on pharmaceutical drugs every year. Remember that alternative or natural approaches, the U.S. spends about $30 billion. But here in 2020 so far, we've already reached $358 billion. Okay? So 10 times as much is being spent on pharmaceuticals. And again, they're chasing symptoms just as much as natural people are trying to chase symptoms. So it just shows if the medications worked, we wouldn't have to spend so much. So every year, we're spending more and more and more on pharmaceutical drugs just chasing after symptoms, such as anxiety and depression. I was one of those people. I just mentioned insulin for diabetes. How about statins for high cholesterol? We spend billions of dollars on statins, but does that address why you have high cholesterol? No. Does it cure you from having high cholesterol? No. You still have the same issues long term. So what else? Hormones. Hormones is another thing that docs chase all the time. So if your hormones are out of whack, what they try to do is just inject you with a bunch of hormones, hoping that that helps regulate you. But you got to ask yourself, step back for a second and say, why are my hormones? What am I doing to myself that is causing my hormones not to be within range and is taking hormones for the rest of my life? The right answer, if you have hypothyroid, taking Synthroid or taking anything like that, are you fixing your thyroid when you take those medications? No. What's their plan when they put you on a thyroid medication? Is it to ever get you off? Is it ever to fix why your thyroid is slow in the first place? No. So we're spending $356 billion a year chasing after a symptom, not the cause. Isn't that frustrating? I find it really frustrating because my mind, it's very fragile. And so taking a medication and hoping that things change in the future can really be disappointing, right? You guys on your pharmaceuticals, are you enjoying the process? Do you really think that that's a great long-term plan?
Well, and then all the side effects that they cause.
Yep. So not only are we chasing a symptom, but they come with side effects. So not only are we trying to change something in our body, but it's also at sometimes more damaging to the body than the benefit, such as a statin, in my opinion. Statins only drop a number on paper, but it does not address all the havoc that is still being created in the body. Okay. So here in the United States, we have something called Big Pharma. It's everywhere, but really the medical mind frame is actually being greatly influenced by how much pharmaceutical companies are putting their hands into medicine. It's unfortunate because I believe that if we were able to keep these guys out of the system as much as they are, medical doctors could actually maybe have a better mindset of addressing the underlying issue and not just being pressured into putting people on pharmaceuticals to chase after a symptom, right? So again, this is a big issue that we have in the United States. So we see drug sales are going up, they're making record profits, but also our death rates of these diseases that they're supposed to be helping us with are also going up. So not a really great situation that we find ourselves in. Okay, here's a really good example. Insulin, diabetes is running rampant in the United States. And again, instead of addressing why people are having diabetes, what they want to do, Big Pharma, is they just want to sell you the medication to manage your diabetes. So you'll continue to get sick and die over time, but at least they're making some cash off of you while you're in your sick stage. And they'll continue to do so because insulin doesn't fix diabetes, and they'll continue to make money off of you till the day you die. So really in the United States, it's not so much health care, it's more sick care. So if they can keep you in a state of sickness and sell you a drug that just barely keeps you alive, then it's good for them, but it's bad for us. So over the years, since 1997, all the way to 2017, why is the price of insulin going up? If you think about it, electronics, as they get better, the prices of electronics go down. So why is it that the price of insulin is going up? Again, Big Pharma does a really good job of making a ton of money because people are sick and they keep them sick. They give them a false idea that you can do whatever you want to your body, but as long as you take my drugs, then you'll get by. You won't be held accountable until the day you die. Okay. So again, in the U.S., we're spending a ton of money on just maintaining symptoms such as diabetes. In the U.S., every month, on average, people spend out of pocket $360. And from what I hear from my patients, this is actually a very low number. Some people will spend way, way more than that out of pocket to help manage their diabetes. So is it really fair that Big Pharma and everybody out there criticizes people for trying a different approach, trying something more natural, maybe something that could do just as much but for a less amount? So if you're paying $360 a year, and that's in the U.S., which we have outrageous pharmaceutical prices. If you take a look at the cost of management, or taking care of symptoms of diabetes, in India it's only $112, Japan $70, UK $65, and in Italy only $19. So if it's the same disease, why is it that in America we spend so much money on this? This is crazy, right? Again, another show that how much Big Pharma can really control what's happening here in the United States. Okay. So the question I get all the time, and one of the things that I help with my patients a ton, is what do I really have to take in order to be healthy, right? Do I need to take a multivitamin all the time? Is it a waste of money? Is it not a waste? Am I actually wasting money when I do X, Y, and Z? And so my approach and the Wellness Way approach is no. If you address really what's happening within the body, and we can find that out through testing. We do that a ton in the Wellness Way. We don't guess, we test. We don't chase after a symptom. We actually do the testing, let the body speak to us and show us what's deficient and what's not working, and then we remove what's actually causing that. So there's a lot of things that we do to ourselves, whether we know it or not, that leads to disease. It's not a lack in a multivitamin that leads to disease, or it's not a lack of insulin that leads to diabetes, right? It's let me take a step back. So one of the things that I get asked a lot is how do I need to take a multivitamin, and if so, how long do I take it? And I said, no, that's the wrong way of thinking. That's thinking like a pharmaceutical or a doc or a medical doctor, or that's actually thinking kind of like natural. We don't just take things just to take things. That's expensive. You don't just take a multivitamin hoping that you're deficient in one of those. You don't just do something hoping that it sticks, right? So that if the wellness way was to do that approach, just chase after a symptom and hold people onto a multivitamin or an herb or a detox program or something like that for a long period of time, it's the same incorrect mind frame as medical. Okay. Again, if you really want to see a change and you don't want to take these things for the rest of your life, what should you do? You should always try to find the underlying cause. Until you do that, you will always chase a symptom, whether you're trying to do it naturally or you're trying to do it through pharmaceuticals. You will always be on something for the rest of your life if you never change what's broken on the inside. So what's the purpose of supplementation through the wellness way perspective? It's only there to help you bridge the gap from your sick state to your healthy state. It won't get you there. We don't just put people on supplements, herbs, and vitamins to take them from a sick state to a healthy state. That's not possible. That's what pharmaceuticals are trying to do. That's what natural is trying to do. What we've got to do first is find out why you're in that sick state first, correct that approach, and then to help you get to the level of health that we know you can, we assist you. We assist through this to get you through that phase. So it's kind of like a Band-Aid. If you cut yourself and you keep cutting yourself, you're always going to bleed, right? And so what we do at the Wellness Way is we identify the fact that you're cutting yourself all the time first, okay? Because no matter how many Band-Aids we put on top of it, you're going to keep doing the same mechanism that's cutting your skin, so you're going to continue to bleed. So it's a waste of time to put a Band-Aid on if you're just going to end up cutting yourself again, right? Many of my patients come in on a list of like 30 supplements, and they're still they're still suffering from the same issues. So my job is to identify why they're on 30 supplements, take them off all of that, and just find the ones that they need to be on. It's pretty cool. So again, supplementation is only to assist in the healing process. It's not going to remove the fact that you keep cutting yourself. Does that make sense? The cutting yourself is the mechanism of why you're sick. The Band-Aid is the supplement that goes over, protects the body as it's transitioning, as it's healing itself. And then once you're healed, you take the Band-Aid off, you get off your supplements because you don't need them anymore. Most of what we need to take should be consumed through our diet and the liquids that we consume. Now, we have a test for that. What should you be putting in your body that should take the position or the role of any multivitamin or supplement or medication? They're all the same thing. Okay? So you got to identify through testing. Again, I always tell my patients you should never be on anything long term as long as you're avoiding the things that are causing the damage that led you down the road to sickness. And these are the three mechanisms that rob us from our health. These are the things that lead us to thyroid issues, to weight gain, to diabetes, to anxiety and depression. Is we're exposing ourselves to one of these three things. And if we don't remove these from our lives, then we will always be chronic users of a pharmaceutical or a natural supplement. It's the same thing. It's both a waste of time because you're chasing a symptom, you're not addressing what's causing you to cut yourself. Does that make sense? So we have traumas. Traumas in the body can wreak havoc, okay? We experience traumas since the day we're born. Think about being born. How traumatic to the baby's body is that process of being squeezed out, right? And then all the things, that happen to a baby once they come out. Toxins. This is a big one, okay? This is one of the things that led to my anxiety and depression. Things that I didn't know that I was doing to myself, and then once my testing came back, I was able to remove those toxins from my body, and now I don't have to take pharmaceutical drugs. And I don't have to take anything long-term because I know that what I'm doing is actually correcting the condition and not chasing a symptom. Right now, I am on 2 herbal supplements. One is kava and the other one is alcidonia. That's something that we take here or have here in the Wellness Way offices. And again, I'm not taking those to control or to cure my anxiety and depression. I'm taking those to help me get to the level where my body's actually capable of being happy and healthy on its own. Pretty cool, right? God made us very amazing people. We have really great capabilities of healing and restoration in our body. But if we don't take accountability and recognize what we're doing to our body, then our bodies will never be able to heal. Because if, I'll just stop right there. So I talked about traumas to our bodies, the toxins we put in our bodies, and then also our thoughts. Thoughts are really powerful. If we think we're an idiot, we're going to act like an idiot. If we think we're sick, we're always going to be sick. And anxiety and depression, man, talk about thoughts affecting our overall health. It's huge, okay? So this is where we get our sicknesses from. It's not a lack of a supplement. It's not a lack of a pharmaceutical. It's too much of this is leading us down a sick road. And here at the Wellness Way, we test to see how these things are affecting our bodies. And we remove them, and then we put somebody on a supplement for a short term to help them heal during the process. Once they get to that destination, they don't have to take anything anymore, as long as they continue to abide by these rules. Okay. So again, I mentioned 2 supplements. One's called Kava, and the other one is Alcidonia. One's a liquid herb, and one is a pill form. Now the reason why I bring this up is I think it's kind of funny that the mental mindset, or what people, their ideas of what herbs are. And we saw some criticism about alternative stuff in the beginning of the slideshow, but I always kind of joke. People have 2 basic understanding about herbs. They understand marijuana. Marijuana is an herb, right? It alters your mind state in your body and all that, and it's the devil's weed. Okay, so you have that extreme. Oh, herbs can really mess you up. And then we have herbs that you put on your chicken when you bake them. So we have mind-altering herbs, and then we have seasoning herbs that you put on your chicken. But what about the gap in between? You got to understand that herbs are fantastic, and there is a wide spectrum of how helpful they can be. Will they solve your issues? No. I've had a medical marijuana card for 5 years. Did that cure my anxiety and depression? No.
Helped with the symptoms.
Helped with the symptoms, but it did not cure the underlying cause, right? So Alcidonia and Kava, they're an herb. They fall within the spectrum of marijuana and herbal chicken. It's right in between. So there's a lot of really cool stuff that pharmaceutical companies don't want you to know of. Pharmaceutical companies actually started ripping off the alternative medicines back in the day. Like, for example, aspirin. Aspirin comes from the white willow tree, or the white oak tree. It actually comes from a tree, and they're like, well, how can we make this cheaper, stronger, and faster so we can make more money? And so they started making their own synthetic forms of aspirin. That's just an example of how they started ripping off stuff from nature, and then you can't patent a naturally occurring substance, so they had to tweak it just a little bit to make it their own. And that's where pharmaceuticals basically came from. They want you to think that they're cutting edge and everything, but they're always chasing after a symptom. So kava is one of those really cool herbs that I take on a daily basis right now because, again, I'm healing. I'm not perfect, and I don't think any one of us can say that. So in this moment where I've eliminated my toxins, my traumas, toxins, and thoughts, in that moment where I'm transitioning from my sick phase to my new phase, I'm using this to help me feel good about myself and get to that destination without going crazy. Because change is hard. Would you agree? It can be scary at sometimes, especially a person with anxiety and depression.
That's a muscle relaxant?
Yep. So here's some things. It can improve your mood. It eases anxiety, induces deep restful sleep, reduces migraines, headaches, promotes wound healing, which is super important. General pain reliever. It's a muscle relaxant. It boosts your sociability. That's super big. Our thoughts, right? If I have anxiety and depression, I do not want to talk to people. I don't even want to look at myself in the mirror because I don't want to see myself. That's how strong anxiety and depression can be. You don't even want to look at yourself. You just want to hide and just try to isolate yourself from any stimulus. So this actually helps me be social. I mean, I have to be social here in the office. I come across new people every day, and for somebody with anxiety and depression, that's really tough. Talk about a case of the Mondays. Well, I have the case of the Mondays almost every day. It doesn't matter what day of the week. Okay?
It's getting better though.
But it is getting better, absolutely. All right. Influences our GABA receptors, stimulates dopamine receptors, reduces hyperactivity, and it can boost our immune system. Again, if we're calm and cool, that means cortisol, which is our stress hormone, stays down as well. We know that if cortisol is high, our immune system gets depressed. If cortisol drops, then that means our immune system can raise up and function 100% of the time. And then the second one that I'm currently taking, and again, I'm just sharing these as examples. This is not curing my anxiety and depression, but it's helping me transition from my sick state to my new healthy state. Okay? Helping support emotional stability, supports proper sleep, calming effect to the nervous system, supports neurotransmitter production. Again,
That's
remember,
huge.
our brain uses 4 to keep us calm, happy, and healthy, and this helps. Supports the hormone ability, supports inhibiting peripheral nervous system, supports the central nervous system, and aids in amino acid building blocks. Okay, so there's a lot of really cool stuff out there. That's really something unique about the Wellness Ways. We find stuff that God put on this earth to help us out. There is wonderful medicines already out there. It doesn't need to come in a form of a white pill. And so the take home to all of this is a lot of people are spending a lot of money trying to find help, but in reality they're just chasing symptoms. What makes us unique at the Wellness Way is because we don't guess, we test. We have to figure out what the basic flaw or basic breakdown of your body is, and then support it in healing. Okay, that is an amazing mindset, an amazing perspective that we have, and that's something that I work with my patients every day. It's not about taking a pharmaceutical, and it's definitely not about taking something natural to chase after symptoms. It's about finding the root cause and then allowing your body to heal itself. And in that process, you may temporarily need something to help you through that transition, just like I'm doing. But eventually, once the body heals itself, it doesn't need that extra boost. Okay, as long as we avoid our traumas, toxins, and thoughts, or if something like that does happen to us, maybe we need to go through another phase of healing. But really, long term is let your body do the work and feed it and do what's right by it, and it will take care of you. Oftentimes we feel like we have to take care of our bodies, but in actuality, let our bodies take care of ourselves, right? It's kind of a cool idea.
It's kind of both. Like you take care of it, it'll take care of you.
Yeah. So anyways, thank you for joining me to another episode of Mental Health Mondays, and I will see you later.